Hello, I'm here with the Harwich Conservation Trust with Michael Locke and Tyler Maycath to talk about what's going on this month with the Trust. So many things as usual. Welcome.
Thanks, Dinah. Thanks for having us.
Nice
and
to see
thank,
you.
Thank you to Channel 18. Yeah,
You're welcome.
we do have a lot of things happening all year round, but this fall in particular, we have a number of exciting projects, including getting people out on the land. Yeah.
And you have a trail opening.
Trail opening.
That's always exciting.
It is exciting, right? 15-acre Cornelius Pond Woodlands project. Recall the Harwich Conservation Trust partnered effort with the town of Harwich to preserve these 15 acres with more than 1,000 feet of shoreline on Cornelius Pond, also called Eldridge Pond. Mix of habitats, forested upland, meadow, wetland, and of course that coastal plain pond shore. What a wonderful diversity for wildlife and people to enjoy wandering through. So that's possible now. Dawn to dusk, that trail is open to the public. It's accessible off of Queen Anne Road. You can see the sign there, right there, that people see as they're driving by. The parking lot, which was created by the town of Harwich Highway Department. Lane Cooper and his team did a fantastic job. AmeriCorps partnered with Harwich Conservation Trust and the Woodworkers Club of the Chatham-Harwich Newcomers. There we are gathered with town officials and Harwich Conservation Trust trustees, as well as Harwich Conservation Trust volunteers. All of these folks representing town committees and departments, and also, of course, again, our HCT volunteers, all working together to create this trail. Tyler led an interpretive walk. As you can see, they're standing in part of the meadow. Tyler, tell us about some of the things we saw.
Sure. Yeah, we had a nice walk and through the forested uplands of the property and the meadow. We stopped at the former house site and talked about the former owner's commitment to conservation and seeing the property conserved. We stopped and paused to take in a view of the pond and talked about next steps for the property for stewardship. We'll be installing benches, hopefully this fall or over the winter.
And will that be done by the Woodworkers group?
Yeah, they'll construct the benches and we will install them. Yeah.
Great. They do such wonderful work.
They do a great job,
It's
don't they?
extraordinary, yeah.
They're great.
We're so lucky to have them.
Yeah, they were honored actually by the Harwich Conservation Trust Board of Trustees as the 2019 Volunteer Group of the Year for Harwich Conservation Trust.
Very well deserved.
Yeah, they do a great job. Yeah.
Terrific.
And actually, Tyler's leading another walk on Wednesday, October 9th. Is that right?
That's correct. I believe it's full, but
Oh, jeez.
So we'll just mention it. But what is the walk?
we're walking around the new loop trail around Cornelius Pond Woodlands. It's a 0.4 mile trail.
0.4?
Yep. So it's a quick walk, but it's a nice way to get out and stretch your legs, whether you're out birding or walking your dog on a leash. Or just pausing to take in a quiet pond view in the middle of your day. So.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So how many people do you accommodate on those walks, Tyler?
Well, on that property, we're a little bit limited by the amount of available parking.
I see. Oh, okay.
And it's a little bit dangerous for people to park on Queen Anne Road. So.
But folks can visit that new preserve at their leisure. Again, dawn to dusk, free and open to the public. We'll be holding more guided walks in the future. But it's wonderful that we were able to partner with the town.
Yes.
And create access to this new conservation destination.
It is wonderful.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you saw the owner's house or house site. Who was the original owner there?
It was the Ovaska family, and they lived on that property for about 6 decades.
Okay.
So we're lucky to work with them. They wanted to further their family vision of the land.
Right.
And so much has changed across the Cape Cod landscape since the 1930s when they settled on that landscape. So for them to work with Harwich Conservation Trust to perpetuate their vision of the land was really special.
Well, it's great to remember them and know that they were helpful with this. And,
Yes.
And how generous they were.
Mm-hmm.
What a difference it makes
Mm.
for
It
does
Harwich.
make a
It's
huge
wonderful
difference.
for all of us. Yeah, terrific.
Yes.
Okay, so what else do you have on your?
Well,
Agenda.
more around that theme of getting out on the land.
Yes.
We've got some very interesting volunteer activities coming up, specific to one of our recent land preservation projects that also resulted from a Harwich Conservation Trust town partnership, and that is the 17-acre Muddy Creek Headwaters project. We're finishing up a meadow restoration. We hope to have that site open to the public in probably by this spring. There's a photo that you can see taken by Chris Simmons of Zygote Digital Films using his aerial drone. The outline of the 17 acres is in yellow, and beyond you see Muddy Creek. This property has about 1,400 feet of shoreline on Muddy Creek. Muddy Creek, also known as Monomoy River, as we know, flows into Pleasant Bay. So very important sub-embayment of the Pleasant Bay estuary, tidally influenced, mix of habitats here as well, whether it be that estuarine shoreline, interior meadow, now expanded and enhanced by the meadow restoration that's taken place, where you see the buildings in the foreground. Those had been abandoned and open to the weather for many years under the previous ownership. And they were removed throughout the stewardship process. Had to do some asbestos abatement and some other land management particulars, but really restored that site to a natural setting. Beautiful meadow that has now emerged in partnership with Blue Flax Design, an ecological restoration company. And there you have a look at the meadow emerging.
That was the before and after.
That was the house site.
Oh my
yeah,
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Wow.
Tyler,
Wow.
tell us about some of the activities coming up.
Yeah, it's been truly transformed, and now that the field restoration has been successfully accomplished, we are able to start moving forward to provide better public access to the property. So we'll begin on October 23rd at 9 a.m. A volunteer group will gather,
Okay.
and there's a variety of stewardship activities that will be taking place. Working on the trail and
And
doing
where will people convene for that?
the best thing to do is to send me an email at tyler@harwichconservationtrust.org, and then I'll know that they're coming. But the property is located at approximately 21 Church Street, so
Right. Okay.
it's immediately on the right as you travel north on Church Street in East Harwich.
Okay.
And
So they would register with you first.
That's
and then,
right,
And
yeah.
then
That's
show
correct,
up that
yes.
day. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Sounds great.
And then you have something else in November?
Yep, we'll have another work day, full day with AmeriCorps Cape Cod on November 21st, and volunteers will be welcome to join that as well. And then after that, we'll see what we're at and what else needs to be done. But we're hopeful that we'll have the trail looking good and the parking situated, and we'll be ready to accommodate visitors in the very near future. So.
It's pretty exciting. As Tyler's organizing these land management work days with AmeriCorps and Harwich Conservation Trust volunteers, we're also working with an engineer to design the parking access. The trailhead kiosk is actually in place, again, courtesy of the Woodworkers Group, the Chatham Harwich Newcomers. So again, those multiple partnerships
Yep.
making access and
Yep.
land preservation possible.
Absolutely. Well, I am always stirred by the number of Harwich Conservation Trust signs I'm seeing around. And of course, our conversations help me be aware of how much everybody has been doing. You
Yeah.
know, you
Thanks,
with your
Dinah.
leadership of it, and so many other people partnering in such generous ways.
Yes.
From the land, donations to the people who are working with you to make it happen.
It's
Town
amazing.
and otherwise. It is. It's
inspiring.
extraordinary. It's extremely inspiring. It's wonderful. Yeah.
And speaking of, there's still more land to save. And we have a project
Right.
underway right now.
The last lot.
The Last Lot campaign. Not the last lot in Harwich,
No.
but the last lot that is tucked next to the Coysbrook Woodlands.
Coysbrook.
Coysbrook Woodlands is a beautiful preserve of about 27 acres right off Lothrop Ave. Lothrop Ave being, I think, one of the more scenic roads in town. There's a map you can see, right?
Yeah.
So it already has and has had for many years a beautiful trail loop. And especially this time of year as the leaves are changing, the tupelos are changing color. Wander down that trail, folks, and you get a glimpse across the Herring River, Coysbrook marshes. Just expansive windswept marsh views and some really neat topography and habitats within this site, whether it's Atlantic white cedar or red maple, a vernal pool tucked in the Atlantic white cedar wetland, pine oak, woodland throughout. And this lot is the last one in this assemblage. So
It's the little red tail on the map.
that is right. And we've been watching this lot, since this assemblage was first starting to be put together back in 1997.
Wow.
And so now here we are with an opportunity to preserve the lot. And on it is a variety of creatures, that wildlife, plant communities that would benefit from preservation, whether it's the fiddler crab there along the marsh edge. You saw butterfly weed in the last photo. If you look real close in that butterfly weed blossom cluster, there's a monarch caterpillar. So monarch butterflies, they're caterpillars, right? They feed exclusively on plants from the milkweed family. So very important species to protect. Yes, and encourage. Praying mantis, that may also be on site. This actually was taken at the Cornelius Pond Woodlands, but the habitat
will be conducive to those.
health, yes, of this last lot at Coysbrook Woodlands. It is key, not only in and of itself as a 1 acre lot, but also adjacent to the Coysbrook Woodlands assemblage. This is a Cooper's hawk. One of our woodland hawks. You can see the banded tail, one of the distinguishing field identification marks for this hawk. This was taken right at Coysbrook Woodlands. All these photos of the wildlife there were taken on site. Cattails right off the edge of this property. This is where a marsh wren will build its nest, maybe 3 feet or more above the high tide water mark, in elliptical dome-shaped nests. So preserving this lot not only helps to protect habitat for all of those species that you saw and more, also helps extinguish septic system in the sensitive Herring River watershed. Also helps really protect the visitor experience to that trail system. So we have 180,000 to raise by December 31st, but we have about a half dozen folks who have assembled a challenge fund of 90,000. 90,000 being half of 180,000.
A kind of a matching grant.
That is right.
Yep.
So we're in the process of raising the match to earn the 90,000. So we have 90,000 to raise in matching funds, and toward that 90,000 matching fund goal, we've raised about 5. So it's getting better all the time.
Okay, it is.
So we have about 85,000 left to raise toward the matching fund goal, and this is all on our website, harwichconservationtrust.org.
All right.
But it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderfully exciting. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it will come through, and urge people, obviously, to help out with this, because it seems like a wonderful cap off to that incredible property.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful site. Really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And Dinah, we're hosting walks on the property throughout the end of the year. So if folks will check our website, they'll see those walks taking place. There's a walk this Saturday, October 5th, with Rich Eldred, a botany walk.
Right.
And then we'll be holding some other walks later in October, November.
Yep, so stay tuned to the website,
And I
all
think
that stuff will
Saturday
be
is
there.
supposed to be a sunny day at this moment, right?
Yes,
That's what I've heard.
We're hoping.
Actually, finally got a little rain, but Saturday is supposed to be a bright spot, I believe. So that'll be great.
Yeah.
Be nice if people want to do that walk. They check out the website, right?
Yes, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. This is Dinah Lane for Channel 18. Thank you so much.